My point right now is Islam is a horrible religion. Brother Daniel, good to see you. Islam is a horrible religion. So even if you have a terrible time in your life, don't become a Muslim. But on the other hand, you should be a Christian. And there are good reasons as to why you should be a Christian.
I'm not particularly interested in becoming a Christian. I'm not that I'm just not a very religious person.
That's fine. What I can say, what's your name?
I'd rather not say.
Sure. That's fine. But my young friend, let me put it this way. Ultimately, all of us clearly are here because of God. Yeah? We didn't just, jump out of nowhere.
I mean, where did God come from?
Sure. But focus on this first point. There is no other rational explanation. There is only one rational explanation for the existence of human beings and other life forms on planet Earth, and that is God. That's the only rational explanation, quite logically consistent and good, coherent and so on, yeah? And so there is a God, clearly. And God of the Bible, Jesus, in the person of Jesus and also prior to Jesus showing up on the face of the earth, demonstrated in multiple different ways, quite consistently and comprehensively, that God of the Bible is truly God. That has been demonstrated. And that is where, especially about the person of Jesus, I'd like to send you an ebook. I can send you a complimentary ebook if you email me. On the internet, on YouTube, our channel is called Operation Stephen. I don't unfortunately have my card immediately available. Operation?
No, at the end of the day, I'm not that interested in.
Sure.
Just here to see debates.
Sure. But what I'd say to you, my dear friend, is I understand. I won't force you. But what I would say is I'd really encourage you to, before it's too late, for you to find out the perfectly legitimate inferences from the fact that there is a God, for you to find who that God is, so you can show gratitude and respond in an appropriate manner. And I'm going to tell you, in Jesus we have perfectly good legitimate reasoning to suggest that Jesus is God, and I can send you a resource. You can read at your own leisure. Would you please email info? Operation Stephen is on YouTube. Yeah. And you don't have to follow up immediately, just email. I'll send you an ebook, and then later on in your life, when you have serious questions, you can read the ebook. Is it fine?
Did you convert to Christianity later in life?
No.
You were born into a Christian family?
Not born into, but early on, very early, I became a Christian, and I confirmed why I had to be a Christian multiple times in my life.
What religion are your parents from?
My mother was a Christian, my father was an atheist. An anti-Christian atheist, my father. My mother was a Christian.
You think your dad's in hell now?
No, my dad, he passed away a couple of years ago, but before he passed away, he became a Christian. So God bless him, wonderfully became a Christian. Through God's grace, he will be fine. And to you, my dear friend, I'm not forcing you, but what I'm saying is, I'll just ask one little thing, and then, I'll wrap up there. Do you think, for example, if you dropped a hat or something, or your phone, and if I pick that up, especially if you are unable to pick that up yourself, let's say you can't bend down or whatever, and if I did that for you and gave it to you, do you think it's a good thing for you to say thank you? To show gratitude is a good thing?
Obviously.
Yeah, obviously. So gratitude or showing gratitude is a good thing. And that is all that I'm asking you to do when it comes to God. If there is a God, we have a requirement to show gratitude. If we don't show gratitude, it's not a good thing. That's my fundamental premise. In other words, when you say you're not interested, my dear friend, my point to you is that's not showing gratitude to the one because of whom you exist today. Hey, lovely, how are you doing?
How are you? Are you an Indian man?
I am.
Yeah. So what are you preaching today? You're preaching.
I am speaking about Jesus. I'll just wrap up here.
Oh, Jesus?
Yeah.
You're not Muslim, or?
No, I'm a Christian.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
There aren't many Christians in India.
A few million. Now,
130 million.
More even. Maybe 300, maybe 400.
Over 1,000 million.
Maybe not that much, but
I have to dash.
Yeah, sure.
I have to get to my.
Sure. But
I haven't been.
Are you a Christian yourself?
No.
You should be a Christian.
Well, I have been, but.
Please, can I say just one thing before you move? I need to wrap up with the gentleman. On the internet, on YouTube, the channel is called Operation.
Yeah.
Stephen with the PH.
Yes.
Stephen with the PH. We do Thursdays 6 p.m. live streams,
okay.
and there is an email that you can email to, and we can we can have a conversation.
But what do you think about the Muslims, the Jews, the Hindus, and the Buddhists? Will they all
The
be-
Bible is reliable, everything else unreliable. Everyone should become a Christian. So please find out,
A lot of them
email.
can't because they don't know.
Yeah, and one of that is you need to get to know. Please email. I'll give you enough information. So that's the important point. We need to show gratitude. That's the fundamental premise. And your reason to exist on the face of the earth today is God. You better find out who to show gratitude for that.
I mean, my parents, could I say it's the same thing about my parents? I exist because of them. If they hadn't married
No.
and had me, I wouldn't exist, right?
Sure. But your parents didn't make you out of nothing, yeah?
I guess not.
Yeah. So, and therefore clearly, merely parents,
These are biological tools they were equipped with to do so.
who equipped them with the biological tools?
Nature.
Which
Or you think-
nature? Which
well,
nature?
You would say God.
Which nature? Which nature? What in nature that you are aware of could give them the tools?
Evolution, I guess.
Okay, explain then. But I need a specific answer. What in evolution? Whatever you're going to describe reasonably comprehensively. What biological feature or what in nature that you are aware of could explain the coming into existence of reproductive tools from the non-existence of those reproductive tools? What in nature can explain that?
Well, I mean, like natural selection over time.
But please be specific. Don't just say.
I don't. I mean, I'm not a
There's
biologist.
nothing in nature. There's nothing in nature which you can say, hey, look, that particular phenomenon will produce a reproductive, organ. Just wait and watch for 1,000,000 years. You'll find a reproductive organ. There's no such thing. This is all, a delusion that they feed.
You don't believe in evolution.
I don't believe in nonsense. I really don't.
Evolution is nonsense.
Anything with no evidence is nonsense.
Well, scientists have found evidence of evolution.
I like science. I do science. But evolution, anything with no evidence is nonsense. There is nothing in reality that can explain the coming into existence of reproductive organs, circulatory system, neural system, digestive system, all sorts of these systems. Nothing could explain how these could come into existence from a state of non-existence. There is nothing that can explain that, evidentially.
I mean, presumably it took a very, very long time because they're extremely complex.
But there is nothing that can explain, even if you give 1,000,000 years. Okay, I'll rephrase the question for you. Is there anything you know outside of God who can, given 1,000,000,000 years, bring into existence a reproductive organ whilst it was not existent prior to that? Any feature in the entire reality that you are aware of which could do this?
At first people may have, organisms may have reproduced a bit more simply.
No. I don't want fancy stories.
I'm not a biologist.
Well, if you don't, that's fine. But please read up on this. There is no such thing. All you have are Mickey Mouse stories. Oh, this could have happened.
You believe we're all descended from Adam and Eve?
I believe in history. I believe in evidence. Yes. According to evidence, Jesus died, came back alive.
No, but if you go back,
According to your evidence, you have got none to explain how life could come into existence from non-life. You have nothing. I have a significant input in Jesus. That's just a starting point. I have much more than just in the person of Jesus. Throughout history, God has been demonstrating His supernatural power in multiple different ways. So I have arguments from historical evidence points. You have nothing. So you have nothing, I have many things. Who is the sensible person here?
you, I guess.
Good, that's it. We're going somewhere, that's lovely. No, if you have, not just you. You can ask Richard Dawkins if you like, you can ask any other such people if you like. There exists no feature that can be clearly defined today which can explain how reproductive organs or circulatory system or excretionary system or digestive system or nervous system or all these things. There exists nothing that can explain how these can come into existence from a state of non-existence. Nothing exists. And so all of these people are selling lies. And you've got, how old are you now?
17.
Okay, you're waiting to go into university. So please be careful. Don't listen to gibberish and simply not. Don't. When you go to uni, when anyone says anything, even if they are professors, lecturers, when they say, oh, evolution, this, that, ask them, give me evidence. Give me evidence. If you give me evidence, I'll accept to what you're saying. If you can't give me, I'll say you're delusional and you're selling me a lie. This is important, and we now need to move on. My point is, please email, my dear friend. Please email, and I'll give you a complimentary copy of this ebook. Please email. You need to learn. You haven't got a clue. Haven't got any evidence.
Maybe I'll leave it. But let me pose you a question.
Sure. One last question.
Okay. Do you believe that we're all descended from Adam and Eve?
We all descended, yeah. That's the only perfectly explicable explanation as to why we are here.
Okay, evolution can explain why people...
Evolution is nonsense.
No, evolution can explain why people have different skin colours. Because people who have darker skin usually grow up in hotter, sunny climates, where they might have been more risk of things like skin cancer and whatnot.
Sure.
So they evolved to have more like...
Okay, my dear friend, I need to stop you here. Hey, look. If you were to give me that story, and if we are going to make Hollywood movie, I wouldn't invest a penny in that.
Very eloquent, sure.
No. You are an eloquent man. No, even if you're Shakespeare, which you very well might be, even if you're Shakespeare, a story which doesn't have meat is a story which doesn't have meat. And that is your problem. Your problem is not that you're not a Shakespeare. Your problem is that your story is non-saleable. My point is this. You told me evolution can explain the difference in skin color. Give me one bit of detail, but you need to give me detail, not story, not fancy ideas. Give me one process in nature which can explain why human beings have a skin to begin with, please. There we go. So, in other words,
I'm not a biologist.
That's why we got a skin.
Well, look, I need £1 million to survive today. No one is giving me £1 million. So just because I need something, it doesn't mean it shows up.
No, you don't need £1 million.
Okay, maybe not £1 million, maybe £10,000. Maybe £100,000. Look, all that I need, no one is giving. Just because something is needed, it doesn't show up. That's Lamarckism, by the way. That's not the theory of Darwinism. That's Lamarckism. My dear friend, your idea that we have what we need is not Darwinism, for your information. That's not evolution. That is another theory called Lamarckism. He tried that. He said, look, giraffes have long necks because where they are, food is high up in the tree. His ideas did not fly off the ground. Did not. Giraffes grew. His ideas did not grow. He was discredited, thrown in the bin.